All right, so this is another episode of I'll Call My Guy. I have a friend for a long time, Chris Allen. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I've known you for a while, and I love your story. And I was telling Sammy when we were thinking about people to have on, I said, I've talked to Chris a million times, but I've never like sat one on one talk about like your story. I've heard it dribs and drabs, and I was just talking to you off camera about some other stuff that you're doing, but I know that here's what I know, and let's start like with this stuff, and then I want to back into. I have so many questions for you. So you're a West Hartford kid,
Born and
right?
raised,
Right,
yeah.
and you're a Connard kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my wife.
Poor side of town.
The poor side of town, right?
As we call it.
Right, my wife. I think my wife missed you by a year or two.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's
95. So
she's 97 maybe or
yeah,
96.
so she was there while I was there.
Yeah, so she's born in 79.
77 for me.
Okay,
So, yeah.
right. So 2 years.
Yeah.
So she was a Connor, and her sister was, I think, 91.
Oh,
But she's a
so
Connor girl. So, but I know some of the people in your class. Marnie, you know Marnie Kirk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She dated my best friend's brother.
Oh yeah. So
Mark Daigle.
she's married to one of my fraternity brothers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we
fun.
went to college together.
Okay.
And you know AE as well.
Yeah, just had our 30th reunion, actually.
Oh yeah.
This past Friday.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, so West Hartford kid, you're at Conard. Are you in growing up? Is it a traditional home? Is it just mom, just dad, parents apart?
Traditional till I was 5. My father passed away when I was 5.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, my mom was single mom. She never remarried.
Do you have memories of him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
I can remember the day he died like it was yesterday.
Wow, because usually at 5 is kind of where 4 to 5 is where memories start.
Yeah. I have vague memories before that of like traveling, like being in an accident with him and my mom, and the car flipped over and stuff like that. But I definitely have memories of my dad, but more so like the tragedy of when he passed.
Yeah.
that
And
night.
what kind of work was he involved in?
My dad was superintendent of schools in Bolton, Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a school teacher, then became a principal, and went into the.
So he's probably a
administration.
highly educated guy, right? To be a super.
Yeah, he went to the seminary.
Yeah.
For
Did he have
schooling.
a PhD or something? Or?
No, he had his master's. But he was kind of going through that whole ladder. It's interesting because I don't know all. I recently learned a lot of his background just by pulling apart old stuff out of my mom's. When I moved, I pulled out all the old records and stuff. And
Wow. So he was an educator.
Mhm, my mom
Right.
was too. My
Yeah.
mom was a principal
Where was she a principal?
in Hamden. She was a nun.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so my mom was a nun.
How did that? Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're
To use Bill Bellamy's quote when I met him, he called me baby Jesus. But
wait. So your dad got a nun?
no, so the way it worked is
Oh.
my mom grew up in New Britain, Italian family.
Yeah.
Went into the convent when she was 18. Was recruited into the convent. She was there until she was 30. Left the convent during Vatican II. Didn't agree with like the changes in the church, I guess, is what her friends have told me. She left and then met my dad. She was a principal while she was a nun, and a teacher. And then met my dad at a conference, I believe, when she was 36.
Oh,
And then
okay.
had
All right.
me
I was
when
going to
she
say, while she's a nun, boy, your
No.
dad was a player.
No. And then had me when she was 39. My
So-
dad was 50.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what school in Hamden? You know?
I don't remember it off the top of my head, to be
I'm
honest.
just curious. Yeah, I went to high school in Hamden Hall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It wasn't Hampton Hall. I know that. I
Yeah.
went to them from
Wow, it's like a public school, though, right?
Yeah, no, parochial school.
Oh, Sacred Heart, maybe.
No, not Sacred Heart. My fiance's oldest goes there.
Goes there. All right. So your mom's an educator as well. Any siblings in the house?
Half brother, half sister.
Okay.
From my father's first marriage. His first marriage, fortunately, they were pregnant, and his wife found out she had a brain tumor. And my brother and sister were 1 and 3, and she passed away while she was pregnant of the brain tumor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then my dad didn't remarry until my brother was 15 and my sister was 12.
Wow. So they were in the household?
My brother was 18 when I was born.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was leaving, and my sister was 15, so she was around for a little bit.
For a little bit. Okay. So, and then you go to West Hartford Public Schools.
Yeah, I started at St. Thomas the Apostle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
went there first
Farmington,
for my first 5 years, through
So,
fifth
so
grade.
were you like? It seems like you were a religious family. Obviously, your mom was part of the convent.
Yeah, she was the sister of St. Joseph right here.
And you were
West
raised as a Catholic.
Raised as Catholic, yeah. Yeah. We went to church and did all that sort of good stuff. Actually, when my father passed away, like, we spent a lot of time at the convent. I was raised by the nuns pretty much with my mom because
Oh my gosh.
we'd go there and she would, like, her best friends were all nuns and they would take care of me and they would teach me how to play piano.
But they must have been a big part of your life because you lose a dad at such a young age. Did they step in to, help your mom and
100%.
guide you guys?
She would go over and, like, there's an infirmary over there and she would go and cut people's hair and to give perms and perms. I still remember the thing when you put like the bag over your head.
Yeah.
But in between, I would go around and we always did like things to give back. So like she would dress me up as little Santa and we'd give the nuns. They didn't have any family, so we'd give them gifts at Christmas. I'd make things that we made. Like I would make different gifts and bring them at Easter. I played the organ for their Christmas.
Oh, that's so nice.
Stuff, like their Christmas Eve Mass and stuff.
Right. But otherwise, obviously, you had that tragedy, but otherwise, just sort of a typical childhood.
Yeah, we had a great neighborhood. Glenbrook Road, right off of Park Road.
Oh, yeah.
Great neighborhood. Tons of kids. Still friends with them, a lot of them, most all of them. Block parties. Everybody come over, hang out,
typical
sit out
West
on the lawn.
Hartford upbringing. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So you go. So now I remember. Tell me if I'm right. At some point, you start cutting lawns.
Yeah, we were just talking about. I was with my best friend today. We were doing work together.
So, but how old are you when you're doing that? 15, 16?
9.
What?
Yeah, after my dad died, and I was
So is that like the neighbors or like
neighborhood like lawns?
Okay.
I went around and got some neighborhood accounts, and I mowed the lawn.
But all right, because to me like this is such a, because obviously you're an entrepreneur and you've had lots of success in your life, and I want to get at sort of what sort of sparked that, and because there's always a debate as to, are you just born like this? I don't think, obviously there could be genetic predispositions with personality. We know all of that, but there's got to be more to it in my view. And I want to know, like at 9, what in you, like, is it a coping thing that you did because you were dealing with dad's passing? Is it, what gets you out there at 9? Because most 9-year-olds aren't running out to cut lawns.
Yeah, and most 20-year-olds aren't.
No, right.
But like,
no,
I think my mom used to always say, like, when I came home from the hospital after my dad died, I said, "Mom, don't worry, I'm going to do everything Dad did."
Oh,
so I stepped into like that almost role of like doing everything I could to make sure that I was taking care of her.
Oh, I see.
But it wasn't something she threw on me at all. She was a very independent woman. She did a lot of stuff herself.
Well, right, and she probably wouldn't want to put that on a kid, right?
I went out, but I would mow the lawn. I loved doing it. I used to do it with my dad.
Oh.
My dad was a big landscaper. He was like, he would come home and walk around and like prune the bushes and plant different bushes. He'd buy the little bushes through the mail and then transplant them around the yard.
Okay.
So it was in my blood from that side.
So it seems like you wanted to, obviously make sure you're the man of the house now.
Yeah.
Your brother was 18, but I was long gone.
Yeah.
Your sister was 15, but you're
gone.
Effectively the child man of the house.
Yeah, no, my sister was gone out of the house because I was 5 years old, so she was 20, and my brother was 23, so he was just graduating college.
So it's you.
Yep.
So do you does a neighbor call you over and say, "Hey, do you want to cut my lawn?" Or did you?
No, I handed out pamphlets. I did all sorts of hustle. I had all sorts of side hustles from. I think actually like parochial school taught you that because they had to raise money a lot.
Yeah.
So
you sell the candy bars.
Sell the candy bars. The different
jump rope for hard or whatever.
Yeah, and then I do like there used to be the thing in the back of comic books where you could like sign up to sell kids' toys.
Oh, yeah.
And so I used to go around the neighborhood to all the families and be like, "You want to buy anything?" And they would buy random stuff, and I would make a commission or get free toys. Different things like that. I was always hustling. And then at 9, I also got a paper route. I remember my mom had to sign for me because back then you had to be 10, I guess, to get a paper route.
9 at a paper route. So you had this. Right? Because I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. Granted, it's a different generation, but still, my daughter's making bracelets now, and she's, they're selling them. They're going to donate the money and all that. But that's different than like, hey, I'm making pamphlets and I'm out, mowing lawns for $6.
Yeah.
To try to make some money.
$20.
Oh, it's 20 then?
$20.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So you go. So you start doing that. You have what else? So what else are you doing? Are you doing trimmings or just mowing the lawns?
No, when I first started, like, I was just mowing lawns. And then when I became 15, I worked at Sedgwick Pharmacy here in town, which used to be across from where CVS is now, Frank's Supermarket. I was always very independent, though. Like, my mom, I think that generation, I hope, maybe it's a sign of the generation, but we were very independent kids. Like, take off and you were gone all day doing stuff. And I was
we're
always,
Gen X. I mean, right. We'd come home, we'd wander the neighborhood.
Exactly, yeah. We'd ride up to Frank's Supermarket, or I would, and I'd buy stuff, make dinner for my mom because she was working as a CCD director at that point in time at our church. So I'd make dinner. I remember distinctly, I was pretty sure I was 9 or 10. I made dinner for her birthday because nobody was around. So I made dinner and I invited all the some of the neighbors over to have dinner, and I made the dinner myself. Wow. So she always encouraged independence, which is, I think, a big fault of people today. I think people today are so caught up in work. They have this guilt complex of, I need to do this for my kids. And there's no initiative from the parents to say, no, go make your own dinner or go make your own breakfast. It's like, let me do that for you, because they feel bad because they're at work or they got to come back. And I think, we're in an interesting time.
You think it's a gift to give the kids some independence?
100%.
Right.
Like, my mother never told me, like, even before my dad died, that she would help me cook in the morning. Like, if I wanted pancakes, she would be like, okay, let's make it together. So teach you how, so you know how to do it. And then you can ask we used to have this little girl, one of my best friends, Natalia, come over every morning. We'd watch her because her mom had to go to work early.
You were like preschool care.
Yeah, right? It was just the two of us. But, like, I would make her breakfast. So I would, like, flip pancakes. I would make scrambled eggs. I would do, whatever we wanted to do. And we were very independent. Like, coming home to an empty house even at the age of 7, 8 years old.
How much do you think of that experience with this entrepreneurship and the cooking like that would have been different if your dad had lived?
I don't think it would have been that much different, to be honest, because the reality of both of my parents, I think my brother's the same, my sister's the same. We were very independent. My sister moved out at 18. She was on her own. She went and did her own thing. And, when you look at, I think it's a lot of how you're raised. It's like the mentality of that household, right? It wasn't my mentality. It was my mother, my father's, for a period of time, mentality that they wanted to raise me to be independent, an independent person, not reliant.
So you don't think it was accelerated or otherwise?
I think it was probably accelerated at a young age for me. But I was saying this at, I was talking to somebody the other day, but, for me, my mother died when I was 26. So, I went through life, even up until that point, very much without a backstop. Oh, I was talking about it with my son, Christopher, if you're listening. Because I don't believe in backstops. I don't believe in, I tell people all the time when they say, like, I want my kids to have a better life than me. F that, dude. Like, if you're where you are and you're decently successful, you're happy, you're healthy, you're living a good life, don't hand your kids money. We're going through the biggest transformational, generational wealth transfer in the history of the United States. And between you and me, I think that's the reason we have so many pricks in this world right now. Because we have a lot of entitled people who didn't do squat for the money, whose parents died and left them millions, and they think they're God now. And they think they're better than everybody else because mom and dad handed me millions of dollars. They didn't have to work for any of it. They may have had jobs, but they didn't have jobs that were going to make them millionaires. It was their parents who saved, who passed away during COVID, who passed away as baby boomers age and die out. I mean, I just had my former father-in-law pass away, who was a huge influence in my life. And, I said to my son, I was like, do you think Poppy at the end of his life had anything to say to me that said anything remotely close to, I wish I made more money? Or do you,
no, of course not.
The only thing he said to me, and I was listening to the recording yesterday, because it was just 4 weeks ago, he said, I wish I had more time.
Right, of course.
Right?
Right.
And so, like,
you can't, and no amount of money can buy that.
And no amount of money can buy that, but it's more so to the fact of everybody's so caught in this rat race of making money. And I look at, my son and his girlfriend, my daughter, like, very different personalities. My daughter thankfully found career that she loves working in. She truly loves her work. She called me up. She got a huge raise, but she wasn't looking for the raise. She was like, they surprised me. They gave me this raise. It was like her work and her work ethic and the amount of time and dedication that she puts into her work after
What kind of
hours.
work does she do?
She's an environmental scientist.
Oh, yeah.
So she works helping to, she's like an Aaron Brockovich in Yakima, Washington, where she helps clean the people's water that the military bases polluted, where they can't drink the water anymore. So she installs what's called poet systems that allows people to be able to drink their water again. It goes through a massive filtration system. And the government's a funding agent to it, but it's a private company that does the actual work. And she works for them.
Oh, I see. So let me back up a sec. So you're talking about you don't believe in a backstop or a net, right?
No, I've never had one. I mean, my safety net is always, I can go back and landscape. I can go back and do.
No, I know that,
lawns.
but let's back that up because I have a little bit of the same, not quite the same background, but I didn't come from anything, and but there's a little bit of a. I mean, it's nice to know that you can rely on, a loved one, not necessarily to bail you out every time, but a loved one to to be there for. I mean, what do you? I want you to sort of clarify that for me.
So being there for me is my mother. We didn't have money, right? When my father passed away, we had like $250,000 life insurance policy.
That's it.
He was making $25,000 a year. He got a pension of $500 a month. That was what she was entitled to, and so we didn't have money. Luckily, our house was paid off because my father had bought it, and his father had helped him when he bought it, and then my father paid him off, and so I think he paid $20,000 for our house here in West Hartford. And so growing up, rather than, being my backstop for money, my mother was my backstop emotionally. Support wise. She would always encourage me to get out.
And you're not saying that you believe in that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we need more of. Our kids don't have the emotional support in a lot of cases.
Right.
We're supplementing it with things or devices or trying to make up for it by doing all for their kids. I don't think there's, and people may hate me for saying it, but there's no benefit for doing everything for your kids, right? Like, I love some of the Montessori school teachings where they make the kids independent right out of the gate. Like, learn how to put your clothes on, learn how to pick out your clothes, learn how to make sure you're brushing your teeth and doing all these things around the house so that you have the ability to be self-sufficient. It's not about turning them into little slaves or anything like that. It's about raising people that when they go off to college know how to cook, know how to do their laundry, have done their laundry for years, know how to iron their clothes, know how to tie a tie. Like, we send if you as a parent give yourself a grade and you sent your kids off to college and they can't do any of that and let alone cope with, the stresses and everything else, you should get an F. Like, that's fundamental 101 as a parent. Like, prepping your child to leave but everybody's so concerned with either making up for not being there or they have their own issues where they need to feel needed. And so they do all these things for their kids because it makes them feel needed themselves. I think you set a lot of people up for failure.
Interesting. So back to 15. So you're doing, how big is your business at this point at 15? How many accounts?
Oh, I just had a few accounts on the street. Okay. But when I was 15, I went and got the job at Cedric.
Oh, at the Cedric Pharmacy.
And I would work there as a cashier. And then I would work at Rockledge Country Club.
Okay.
I was plugging balls. And then as soon as I got my license, when I turned 16, a few months after, my best friend Mike and I used my life savings from the newspaper and everything. I went out and bought a used Toyota truck. And we went around, printed off pamphlets up at CVS on the copying machine.
Right.
And we went around and handed out pamphlets for lawn and yard work. And we probably had 40, 50 accounts.
Wow.
I quit football. Coach C hated me for that, but he didn't hate me, but he was trying to keep me. And we would go out after school every day and we worked. We hustled. And
so at your biggest, your 50 accounts?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we were probably I would walk into school with knots of money and hand it to Mike and be like, hey, here's your half of this month's.
Wow. How much do you think you were making?
Oh, man. I would guess probably $30,000
a year.
Yeah.
As a high school student.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, he's driving in a Beamer. I had a Jeep all jacked up and tricked out along
Right.
with the Toyota truck.
That's what a high school kid does. You're
We
like,
spent our money. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like we were smart and saving
Saved
and
it.
investing.
Oh, you just got a
we
great
went out
car.
and had a blast.
You had a blast with it. But look, nobody gave, Mommy didn't buy you a Beamer
nobody
or
bought.
a Jeep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did it. So like,
was us.
hey, that we want you to spend your money on? Go ahead.
Exactly. And we never, he came from very meager means too. His father was a butcher.
And what's
mom
his
was
name?
a nurse. Mike Daigle.
Mike Daigle. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he might have saved more than me. He's a very frugal guy. But he did have a Beamer.
Oh, it's so funny because there's a Daigle that just moved into my neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's that Mike, but so he goes and so you do that. Do you go to college?
Yeah. So I mean, well, that was just one of my jobs. I mean,
you
at
had
my
more.
peak, my junior and senior year, I did landscaping. I also still worked at Rockledge. Then I worked at Fancy Bagels in Elmwood.
Oh yeah.
I was a baker, so I would bake from 3:30 in the morning until
During school.
Yeah, until like 7,
What
and then go to school, and then in the summers I would go in at 3 and stay all day and close the store for them when they would go away on vacation at 3:00. And then I work at Britches at Great Outdoors from 5 to 10.
But again, you didn't have to do this to live.
No, it wasn't like I was giving my money to my mom or anything. It was just my drive was like, I like nice clothes. So I went and got Britches Great Outdoors had good clothes. So I went and got a job there and I got 40% off their clothes. So
Do you ever think, and I don't want to play like dime store psychologist here, but do you ever think any of it was sort of you trying to cope with your dad's loss, or
I don't know. I
like
had
throwing yourself into like all these different things as sort of a distraction to.
I just had a lot of ideas as a kid. Like,
maybe that's how.
I had father figures. So like my sister was married to a great guy, and he took me to Indian guys,
all right.
Cub Scouts.
I'm just trying to get at like what created this, like, or is it's just how you were? Like I just because it's not. You would agree it's atypical how you were.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like everybody.
I sold candies in school. I did stuff like that, and I worked. We had to work, but I'm not running around doing 3:30 in the morning fucking baking. I mean, I worked at McDonald's on the weekend from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah,
right. Okay, but that's like. But you're running around at 3:30 in the morning before I go to school and then working at night. That's not. That's aberrant behavior. Good behavior, but it's aberrant.
I sold cars too.
What?
I sold cars for the car dealer that I bought my Toyota from. He was like, if you want to list the cars in the paper and write up the things. What
was the thing that magazine that was called then? Remember that magazine that had
Auto Trader?
There was Auto Trader, but there was another one that like had
I used to do the Hartford Current Classified.
But there was this other paper I remember my like stepfather would like go through and like try to sell stuff in. It was like a
Oh yeah?
You would know what it is. I forget it. But all right, so you're doing that, and then you have all these different jobs, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna go to college?
Yeah, so I did. I applied to college. I got into Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I found out right before Thanksgiving, my senior year. My junior. I got early acceptance. Yeah, so it was my senior year, Thanksgiving, and I went to college. I went there for 3 months.
And that was it.
That was it. It was cool, but like again, I had a lot of freedom in my house. Like my mother, despite being a nun and a teacher and yada yada, she was not a one that was like, you gotta be home at this hour, you can't do that, you can't do this. She wanted me to go out and explore and learn things and try different things. I mean, and she was always encouraging different business things. And so when we got to college, everybody was like, yeah, I'm free, and like
you had already had that.
It was like, okay, a month of that, and I was like bored. I was the kid that would stay in on the weekends because I didn't want to go get drunk again and like go to another fraternity party. And I would be out on my mountain bike riding through the mountains for, a couple hours, just to kill time because I was bored. And I think my son is similar to me in this, but, relevancy of the various college credits that I had to take to what I wanted to do, I didn't see it, right? And so, like, marrying that to where I was going to be in life afterwards. And then I saw, truthfully, at that point in time, my mother was struggling because it was... Back then it was $32,000 a year.
You couldn't do it.
And it was just like, she was, selling things to pay for college for me. And I didn't feel right doing that. So I told her after Thanksgiving, I was like, I don't think I want to come back after Christmas. We drove the 7.5, 8 hours to Allegheny, packed up her car.
That was it.
That was out.
You're out. So you move back home.
moved back home.
And what do you do?
I was there for 5 months. I was going to go back into landscaping, so I decided I wasn't going to ask for money from my mom. She just spent all this money on college, so I learned about the SBA and the SBA loan program and how you can do that. And so I read a bunch of books and wrote a 54-page business plan on like a landscaping company that I wanted to start and how it was going to be different than others and how I was going to grow it. And Webster Bank backed me and went to the SBA, and I think it was like a $40,000 loan, got me some trucks, it's a trailer.
And you're 19?
Yeah, 19. I think my biggest gift is that I create meaningful relationships with people. Everybody tells me I come across as humble and genuine, which is not something that I try to do. But at the end of the day, I recognize that I've created some great relationships with people because I'm open to talking to anybody. Whether you're the richest person in the world or you're the janitor and the bum on the street, it doesn't matter to me.
Same. I'm exactly like this.
So Robert Udoff, big property owner here.
He won't do my podcast. He's too private, he said.
Yeah. Well, he came into the bagel shop almost every other day. And when I told him what I was doing, because I was still working there while I was figuring out my plan, I went back to work there. He said, well, tell the bank that you're going to get a bunch of my properties, and if they need a letter from me, I'll help.
Oh my God, what a nice gesture.
So he gave me the letter, and I did Cedric, I did Avon, I did a bunch of his properties.
And he's a good landlord. He does nice properties.
Yeah, nice. It was all of his, more of his residential apartments.
Yeah, nice stuff.
Yeah, and so I got a free apartment out of it. I negotiated, so I got a free apartment. So I moved out.
But a guy like that though is like exactly like he gets it. He was, he knows business, and he's like took a chance on you. Like.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're still friends to this day. I can call him
that's
now.
so funny.
But he's I had an apartment on Cedric. I would mow the lawn there for free, and I would vacuum all the hallways and clean them all in the various, backdoor hallways. And I moved out at 19, a few months later.
And started doing this. So how long do you build this business?
I built that through 23. I got married at 21. Built that till I was 23. Sold it to a couple of my buddies that had graduated and wanted it, and I got recruited by Prudential Financial to go work for them.
To sell insurance?
Financial services.
Oh, right. So stockbroking.
Yeah. So I went.
So you're calling people on the phone trying to hot them.
So
did you get like a Series 7?
I got my Series 7, my health and law, my advisory, eventually my PNC as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I did cold call. I used to call people. I used to figure out fun ways to do it. So like I knew as a newlywed myself, I was like, they used to put the announcement in the paper of like, hey,
I remember that. Yeah,
the paper. Yeah. So I'd go through those and be like, hey, John, how you doing? It's Chris Allen. Congratulations on the wedding. He was like, oh, thanks, man. I was like, don't worry, you don't know me. He was like, oh, phew, because I was trying to figure out who you were. And then we'd talk about like saving for college or for kids or for a new house or whatever.
Wow.
And then I started doing seminars across the state. So I would spend quite a bit of money, and I'd put on like mini weddings every time. Everybody had a 5-course meal, and I'd do massive mailings and get all these folks in and put together quite a portfolio of investors through that. Left Prudential and went to A.G. Edwards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And was at A.G. Edwards till just after my mom died. Then went to LPL, my own shop.
Oh yeah. LPL is everyone your own.
And did that, continued it on, and then sold that to a guy in Farmington. And one of my biggest customers and a father figure to me, to be honest, was Richard Babcock. He was a big all-state insurance agency out in Bristol. And he was getting ready to retire. He says, hey, what are you going to do after you're sold?
That's right. You got into insurance. I do remember this now.
Yeah.
He had an Allstate brokerage.
Big Allstate brokerage out in
you still have
Bristol. That? I had it up until 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you buy it from him?
Yeah, I buy it from him.
And then you completely get out of Prudential? Or
I was at A.G. Edwards and then LPL, and I left. I had sold LPL. He's like, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, well, I'm not sure. I'm going to figure it out. He says, I think you should buy this.
But when you sell the LPL stuff, like I'm dealing with this now in divorces, like it's hard. Like when you sell it, like you're selling a bunch of customers that know you.
Yep.
So they can just leave the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually based on a trail. You get a tail or
something.
You
get a tail, right. So it's right.
It's not like huge money. I was just tired of it. Became very conflicting to be a broker because I still find it to this day like, trying to drive revenue off of people's investments is there's ethically a lot of things wrong there for me. I was good at the relationship part and managing the money, and I made people huge dollar amounts, and some of them are still my best friends today.
And they call you for advice?
They call me for advice. They've invested in my other businesses after I've gotten out of that business. But I think it was just something that I got tired of. I obviously have ADD and ADHD and stuff.
I do too,
And so I struggle with staying in something for a long period of time, or even just sitting down and doing
But it
the same
also,
thing.
would you agree that the ADHD also makes you incredibly creative?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Because I'm always looking to figure out and solve a problem.
Right. Doesn't it make it makes your significant other insane, though?
Yeah.
And the ladies that I work with downstairs, it makes them insane.
All the people at iDevices,
they go crazy. They're like,
they call me squirrel.
no, right. But they literally have to like sit on me they lock me in a room. They take my phone from me.
Yep.
Right. And they're like, you're not leaving until this is done.
Yeah.
And I have to tell Sammy that too. You have to treat me like a child. And I'm okay with it. I don't have an ego. I'm not a screamer. I understand I have this problem. I need somebody to be my executive functioning.
Yeah.
Because I'm like thinking about, like with Sammy, she's my head of marketing and all this. And I'm like, how about this idea? Do this idea. Do this idea. Go do that and come back to me. Like, and so I've gotten better at that now as I've grown, and I can delegate more and do that. But it makes we have such creativity.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, and luckily, and most of us that have it too are also, we have good horsepower, good intelligence, a good IQ. And that helps too. So because like we've found ways to also like we can like show up and just wing something because we're smart. And most people can't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I've never So further in my career, when I owned iDevices, I'd go out and I was raising capital in Silicon Valley on,
you just walk out there and do it.
Park, and the bankers would be like, "Listen, here's the deck.
You're like, no,
you gotta do this."
You're like, no.
And they were like, by the end of it, they were like, "Forget the deck. Like, just go ahead. We know you're gonna wing it."
Pitch deck,
It's
gonna be, and it's gonna be authentic.
That was the biggest thing. They said that you're not reading anything. They know you're authentic. You're telling
this
from the heart.
And you don't give a fuck because it's like, look, I'm gonna go out there. I believe in this. They don't have to. I'll go to the next person.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's something to that. So I want to get to iDevices. So you're doing that. You sell that. You're doing insurance, and you're selling, local property and casualty lines.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that he saw as an opportunity, which I agreed was, financial services wasn't his thing, and so property.
So you could sell it all.
Yes, I could sell it all in one shop, and he had, a $5.5 million book of business that, threw off good cash, but also had untapped resources for financial services. So I went out, I put a bunch of SOPs in place in the office. We had this really great rapport systems and processes, getting people to come in and do reviews of their insurance.
And then you say, oh, by the way, what are you doing for this? What are you right? And it's like the cable company. Then they sell you the cell phone. They sell you that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So we were the top agency in the state, won all sorts.
And that's in Bristol.
Yeah, yeah. And then I bought another one in Avon the year and a half later, and took over that one. And
is the business model there? You're getting a percentage from the insurance company for doing this for them?
Yeah, you get a regular commission based on your book of business.
Right.
So typically anywhere from 10 to 15%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just kind of pays your bills, and then the financial services was the gravy on top, and so I could go out and do that.
You could be like all those guys that sell annuities to everyone. Fixed income annuities. One of my clients has got a huge business with fixed income annuities, but he's not doing so well now because the market's good.
Crazy, yeah. It's usually in the down market.
Although he's got a couple of them. And, but he tells me that there's actually these underwriter guys, actuaries that are smart, and they watch these companies that put them out, and they're like, that's priced wrong. We're going to buy that. Because they fucked it up. He's like, the underwriting is all wrong in that. We're putting our money in there because they'll make money on the spread on that.
Yeah.
But a couple of these, I looked at them from divorce purposes. I'm like, there's that value. I forgot what it's called. And then there's the whatever. He's like, if this thing is going to grow guaranteed to $2 million in the next 12 years, and then he can pull out 3% a year, and then if he dies, the whole thing. I'm like, what a fucking deal that is. I'm like, who priced that? He's like, they didn't make a good deal on that one.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting time. I did a lot of that. I did a lot of insurance and estate planning, stuff like that.
So you did that, and then so at some point you have this idea about the obviously you and I came around when the internet came about, right? I was in college, and we had dial-up modems still. And then you download. I remember one time, like my friend. Do you remember BBSs? Like you'd have to dial in because somebody would run this thing, and somebody would my friend would be like, "Oh, there's a nude picture of a girl." And we download it all night, and then we get up in the morning and be like, "Oh my god, it's a new picture." It took all night to get it, like a 2400 baud modem. Then my friend got the 14.4 modem or the 28.8, and it was like, "Oh my god, it's so fast."
You plug it in the PCMIC.
The PCI card
on the side
of your
PCI,
computer. So you do. So you So it's this concept of iDevices, how was it born? What was your idea?
So I've been flipping houses on the side when I was in insurance.
Dude, you are insane. You're flipping houses.
Yeah, I was doing it with my father-in-law that just passed away at the time, and we would buy and flip.
Such a hustler.
We did all the work ourselves, so we would do like tile work,
Yeah.
and so he taught me how to do all that construction. But then we were actually doing one of the neighbors' houses, and I just happened to buy the latest iPhone, and for Father's Day I got a grilling thermometer that connected to like this little clunky thing they walked around with, and it was like, your food's ready on, I don't know, it was like a brick that you held in your hand with a little screen.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
It was like from Brookstone, I think.
Oh, Brookstone. I love Brookstone.
And so
you buy it on Sky Mall.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure my wife at the time did. And so I was holding my iPhone. I was like, man, this should really connect to your iPhone. It'd be so much better. You already got it in your pocket. It makes so much sense to just do it that way. And so I was like, I should, one of her friends actually said, you should patent that. That's a good idea. So I went around and Googled how to do a patent and wrote a provisional patent myself, and literally drew it with my own freehand colored pencils. They were my mom's, and submitted it, and then decided that I was actually going to go make it happen. And
you prosecuted a patent yourself?
Provisional. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
and it was approved?
Yeah, went through. I mean, that was the basis for iDevices and iGrill.
So it wasn't light switches. It was the grill.
It was the grilling thermometer. That was the first thing I ever did.
So you do that, but then obviously you're running in all different directions. How do you say, okay, now I'm going to make this thing?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. So I went about Googling again, like how to create a product.
Right.
And I got hooked up with these guys called Inch Design down in Brooklyn, New York. Went down and talked to them. They were like,
did they sign an NDA or no?
Oh, yeah. They were like, yeah, we can make this for you. It'd be really interesting. There's some guys that are app developers down here. This is when apps were first coming out.
Right?
So like the guys that did flick fishing.
Fishing?
Yeah, it was like a fishing app. You actually used the phone and you cast.
Oh, yeah.
And then it would be like, you got a fish on, and you reel on the screen and stuff like this, and it would vibrate and stuff. It made it feel real. I met with those guys and then started to put together a team of folks. And actually one of my brokerage clients that had, remained friends with me, he had done very well, sold his business. And I was like, I think we should, do this. I said, would you be willing to put in some capital? And he was like, yeah, I'll throw in some cash. So we threw in the capital, got it going. And then a few more people came around and said they wanted to be part of it too. And we started off to the races, and, within a few months, really, we had some engineers that I hired.
So how much did you put together to like seed capital there?
$200,000 maybe.
All right, that was enough to sort of.
That was enough to get the lights going and get the things moving in the right direction, and I incentivized everybody with a little bit of ownership.
Right.
So like there was a big company down in Wallingford called Cooper Atkins.
Mm-hmm.
They actually do thermistors and thermostats for like the restaurant businesses. And so they came in and they gave some engineering resources. But the big break was when I cold emailed Apple, John Glincy.
So tell me about that. So you say, hey, Apple should be involved here.
Well, no, it was really, we were having trouble because back in the day, Apple didn't have a protocol to be able to connect to their device, right? There was nothing connected to the phone when I started this company, versus today when everything's connected to the phone. And so when I first started, the only way things you could connect were headphones, and so A2DP and speakers, right? Those are the only things that would connect to the phone. So through Bluetooth. So I reached out to a gentleman by the name of John.
How did you find this name?
So I started trying to learn how to program. I still can't program,
right?
But I tried.
You don't need to. AI's got that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done.
So I did a bunch of video watches of like how to program for iOS on Apple University. And John Glincy left his name and email up there. He said, if you're having trouble with any of this, feel free to reach out. I'm the head of evangelism, and we'll get you squared away. And so it was like,
sure.
Yeah. So I reached out, and everybody said I was crazy because I didn't have an NDA or anything. I was like, I don't think Apple wants to make a grilling thermometer. But I sent them a rendering of what it was. I said, this is what I'm trying to do. I can't do this. And 2 hours later, they called. They said, listen, the executive team saw it. Steve saw it. They really like it. They wanted
Steve, like Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when they were still nimble and.
Yeah, I mean, Steve wasn't sick or anything at that point in time. He was still.
But they were big enough. They were small. They were big enough, but small enough that an idea can get run to the head guy.
Yeah,
like
they
you
said
see
this is the
kid.
future. We see this as the future of the device being connected to things like this, and we want to see it come to market. So we want to dedicate some
Resources.
engineering resources to help your engineers make it happen.
So what? So I think you told me this. So what happens? Do you go out there?
They call me first, right before they leave for Christmas. So Apple shuts down for the last 2 weeks of the year.
Right.
So like around the 21st, 22nd.
Right.
Steve Chick and David Harrington called me, and they said, listen, we've got some engineer specs for you that we'll send to your guys. We're going to be closed for the next couple of weeks, but we'll come back together and we'll get you out here to Cupertino and sit down and chat about what we see and how we can help you out. And so that was the beginning of the relationship. It blossomed into.
Do you go? No, do you go out there?
Oh yeah, I went out to.
So who goes out? Tell me the
just
story.
Me. I went out
so you
there.
just book a flight to
and book a
San
flight
Francisco?
to Cupertino, yeah.
And you take a cab there,
just a cab to Stevens Creek. I was all dressed up, suit and everything and tie, because I thought it was like big deal.
Yeah, and
everybody else is in jeans and
they're like, who's this guy? So you like walk in, go to security, and a guy comes and gets you. Like, tell me, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was super nervous. David Harrington came in. David Harrington was like one of the head evangelists there. He literally had worked there from before Jobs got fired, even after. So he'd been like a lifer. And I still talk with him till this day.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. He still lives out. He lives
and
in San Diego.
He's a very wealthy guy.
I'm sure he's ridiculously wealthy.
Ridiculously, he's got.
They comp him with a lot of stock every year.
So you go meet with him, and you go to this big conference room, and they're like, "Tell us about this." Or?
Yeah, so it's very, it's very. Stevens Creek used to be very isolated, so you would walk in. There were visitor sections, and you never got beyond like the conference rooms for visitors. Mm-hmm. So there were visitor conference rooms that we would go off to, and then people would come in and they'd meet with you and chat with you. Eventually, when they tried to acquire the company later on, I got the full tour in the Ives area and the.
But Apple tries to acquire you.
Yeah, twice.
Wow! Oh my God! I got to hear this. So did they help you at first?
Yeah, they were super supportive. I wouldn't be where I am without them, because I developed the product, got it to the point of prototype, then we were going to manufacture. And
at this point, do you have official, you have a private equity involved, or
no? We had raised probably about $1.4 million
just with angel investors.
With angel investors, a bunch around West Hartford in this area, and I got
and how diluted do you get at that point?
I still own 67%.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so it was decent. And I go and we go to Dub. Meet with them again, WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference, and we sit down and we go through kind of where the product is and everything. And they were like, "We really love it. It's looking great. Some good stuff coming here." And then I got a random call again. It comes up as Apple on my Toyota Prius that I'm driving at the time, and it says Apple on it, and it ends up being David. And he's like, "Listen, I'm sitting here with Doug Harrington. Doug Richardson." And he's looking at your product. He really likes it. So I'm going to put him on the phone. And so I'm like, "Hey, Doug, how's it going?" Very casual. I was going to a 4th of July party out in Litchfield with my industrial designer. He goes, "How many of these things you making, Chris?" I said, "We're doing 5,000 to start. That's all I can afford. And then, we'll do another 5,000 behind it." And this is 2009, so money's tight, really tight. And so he goes, "Listen, we'd like to buy all 10,000. We're going to launch you in Apple retail on Black Friday this year. Can you make that happen?"
And wait, and what month is this?
This is we're in August.
And they want to launch it for
Black
December
Friday,
November 26th or whatever.
Yeah. So can you make that happen? And like an idiot, I was like, "Yeah." And so when I went back to my designers, engineers, and everybody, they're like, "Holy crap, that's really fast. What the hell did you commit?" I was like, "Listen, this is a great opportunity. We sold $600,000 worth of product in one call." So we made it happen. We launched on Black Friday in Apple retail. Went out to CES they made us sign a distribution agreement. It was really crazy because MFI, made for iPhone, iPod, wasn't even a thing. And so Doug had taken it into the store. So we were in the physical store, right? In every store across America. And then online was just really starting to be a big presence for them in terms of online sales.
And where do you make this? Is it overseas?
California.
Oh.
I tried to help create jobs here. I got my butt handed to me, but I tried to make it in California.
And you did.
I did
You
for the
just didn't
first
make
2
money.
years. I lost my ass, quite literally. We were making it for like $64, selling it for 72, and like just eating crow every day. But we launched. I had literally David Harrington drove me around to get it approved through the various Apple campuses, running me in and putting it in front of like their engineering team. Test this really quick, make sure it's all good. Okay, it's launching, and it was like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. They're like, it's launching. We need approvals. We need that made for iPhone, iPod logos, and all this stuff approved. So it was crazy. It was a fun time. I mean, I can't.
Wow.
And then we went to CES with the distributor, and that's when everything went batshit crazy. I mean, that was like,
but then who helps you get it out of California to be made somewhere else?
so Apple had 2 distributors. Get it made somewhere else?
Yeah, let's see,
They all approached me at CES.
Oh, and they
all
said
the manufacturers.
They said, "Hey, we can do this for $42."
Yeah. Way less.
So
than
what
that.
did you got it down pretty low?
Yeah, I mean, when we sold the company, I think the iGrill 2 cost us somewhere around $14.
Oh, okay. No,
And then the other one was our iGrill Mini was like maybe $10.
Oh, right. So
we got it way down.
Way down.
But Apple supported us through that whole
So once
thing.
you had that imprimatur of Apple on it, like people, people just it's a good product. They must see something. So
Well, there's nothing else. We are the first connected product that will talk to your phone.
the first.
First, there was nothing else in the market. So when we went to CES, I was on the Today Show, Good Morning America, the early show,
Really?
CNBC, CNN.
Oh,
all
so
this stuff.
so what do your sales go from what to what?
Oh, I woke up in the morning. The first press release when we announced that we were going to CES, we sold 20,000 units like that. I didn't have any more inventory. I woke up, I thought I got spammed or a virus on my computer because it just was all order confirmations, and I was really the only employee.
And you're like, I got to fill all these?
Yeah, I literally it was me, and I was like, I would use aliases as emails for like customer service or accounts payable.
It's just you.
It was just me, and I was answering.
So what do you do? So do you bring somebody in and say, "Holy shit, I'm going to die here"?
I brought in my CFO at the time, John Cornelius. His father was one of the investors. He was like, my son's looking for a gig. Maybe he can help you out. And so he came in, and he and I were like, he was like, well, at least we're making some money. And we really weren't because we were losing our butt still. But at the end of the day, yeah, he came in. We hired a couple of engineers out of Hartford and started things really rolling. We worked out of my Allstate office in Canton.
Wow.
And converted it into the iDevices headquarters.
And the only thing you're making is this grill product.
Just the grill product. The grill product was crazy because Apple, again, took it on every press junket globally. And we sold that in Japan. We sold that in Australia and New Zealand.
Holy shit!
Yeah, everywhere.
So it grows and grows, and what does the revenue go from like?
We grew that to just under 13 million in annual revenue.
Wow!
On a grilling thermometer.
On a grilling thermometer. Before you sold it?
Yeah. Yep. We sold it to Weber. Weber had an opportunity to buy it. We could talk for hours about it, but they had a deal for 4.2 million to buy it when it was in its early days.
You said no.
No, they said no. We had a deal signed, and they walked away 2 weeks before the closing. So
Why?
we're not going to do it. We just don't think it's going to be a market for this in the future.
But were they contractually allowed to get out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they walked. And Jim Stevens will tell you it was his most expensive mistake. They ended up buying it for $47 million.
Really? Years later?
Yeah. 4
Does
years
he
later.
still tease him about it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, do you remember the thing about the Netflix guys with Blockbuster?
Blockbuster, yeah. I mean, that's the same thing.
They were in a retreat in Santa Barbara, and they got on a plane. They had to borrow money to get there.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, sorry."
Yeah, exactly. So,
and now look who's laughing.
Yeah. And that was it.
Holy shit! So you wind up growing it, and so how many products do you have when you sell it to Weber?
So we had the iGrill kitchen thermometer, and then the iGrill minis, and we had done all of that. I mean, Zuckerberg posted about us on his own Facebook page.
Wow.
Jeff Weiner from LinkedIn posted about us on his LinkedIn page. So that really blew us up in a meaningful way.
And then you sell it, and then you stay on for a while.
Yeah, I sold that. No, I sold that to Weber, just the product for the 47 million.
So
no people. It
you
was
just
the
closed
rest
it
of
down.
it. No, the rest of it was all home automation.
Oh.
So we ended up being asked to be part of HomeKit with Apple
Oh.
and everything. So we did light switches, dimmers, receptacles, thermostats, all sorts of cool products like that. And that's what Hubble bought in 2017, the year after we sold the rest of the...
Oh, I see. So the first thing you sold was the product.
Just the product and the IP.
Did all the goodwill
Yep.
and all that, the IP. And then you then sell the rest of the
all
business.
the people. We had 80 people or 75 people.
And they got absorbed by Hubble? Or?
Yep.
Wow.
And I worked there for 3 years.
And so they give you a contract to stay on to help shepherd the stuff?
No, I was free to go whenever I wanted. It was
Just
very
part of the
generous
thing, right?
contract. Like I was,
But I mean,
it was a fool. When I look back, I was like, man, this was pretty easy. But no, it was.
But it was a non-compete, right? You couldn't start up a business to fight with them. There was no non-compete.
No.
Wow.
They didn't. I mean, I think they didn't have a concern that I was going to go out and try and do it again.
Right, because by that point, it's
Yeah.
So you do that. So the kid that's like, that's eating the putty out of the windows, literally, like, you come on to like tens of millions of dollars. What's that like?
It was interesting. I mean, it was definitely different. I think I've learned a lot about myself going through it. Like, money comes and goes. It's part of life.
But and the thing is, you're still doing all kinds of crazy shit. But you don't have to work.
No, but I think my son said the same thing. He said, Dad, why didn't you just retire when you sold the business? I was like, because I'd be fat and dead by now.
You'd be dead. But I'm always interested in people like that because there's so many people that I know that are like, that have entrepreneurs, they made all this money, and then they're like out, like I know a guy, he's selling some other thing, and I'm just like, talk to me about, I'm like, dude, you don't, like, there's somebody I know in town that like works like 80 hours a week, doesn't have to work a day in their life, and I'm like, and then somebody said, why isn't that guy in a beach somewhere? I'm like, because he would die.
Yeah.
No, you would die.
I mean, I have a good time. I've had
right,
when I first got the money, I traveled.
You bought some cars.
Bought some cars.
I
did stupid stuff, private jets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have that like momentary like lottery winning, but then you come back to reality and like I've sold all that. I don't do that much anymore, and like that isn't really what life's about.
That's right.
Like, life at the end of the day is
a short ride.
What you leave behind, right? As a legacy, can't take the money with you. And again, going back to my father-in-law, time is the most precious gift that you have. So doing things that I enjoy now, doing new things that invigorate me, make me feel alive, and like, feel like I'm doing something fun is really gratifying for me. Like, versus just doing a 9-to-5 gig or something like that. And I enjoy helping other people. I've done a lot of venture capital here in the state. I sit on the CBI board of directors and the executive committee, and helping other businesses and the state be a better place to do business in. Those are things that, at the end of the day, when I'm dead and buried, my kids will hopefully hear that your dad was a good person.
Mm-hmm.
He helped other people. Everybody in my company had equity when I sold.
Right, so you took care of your people.
They all got big payouts or good payouts. I took $5 million of my own money and gave it out as bonuses.
Wow.
And we as a team had a crap ton of fun together. We had bar in our own office.
Right.
Beer on tap.
Oh, that's
food.
awesome.
It was a great time.
And you and so now that that's done, you had something. Are you still involved with the Cleanse company?
Yeah, iCleanse. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going through a rebranding right now. We're stepping into the hospital market in a pretty big way for point of care.
Is that like the stuff like Ecolab does? Is that a competitor?
They're similar. They're in the janitorial space so, but similar. We do. But we're stepping into advertising at point of care, so more like a patient point.
And this is your business.
Yeah, I mean, a group of investors and I bought the business from the former owner, and then we've transformed it.
Transform that, and then what else are you doing? You're doing Amazon stuff.
Yeah, I have a little distribution, logistics business for Amazon that I kind of just fell into.
No, but do you have somebody running that for you?
Yeah, so I right now I abide by I did it truthfully as a way to give back, because I thought like, hey, this is a great way. They're paying decent wages. You don't need a high school diploma even to get in. We give 401k. We give health insurance.
Right, you could be home with your family.
Yeah, and they get an opportunity to we pay for their tuition if they want to go to school, whatever. So it was a way to give people some decent jobs here in the state that may otherwise not have that opportunity. And then I abide by the Warren Buffett model, where you're like, if you have a good opportunity or a good business, find a good team to go run that business, and don't get so tied into it that you're more of a 100,000-foot guy that helps manage it and maybe guide it in the right direction if they're falling down. But if you put good people in and you pay them well and you take care of them and you empower them, you create a great job, you create a great work-life balance for them, they'll be loyal to you. And I think I have a lot of good, loyal people.
What do you think makes a good manager?
Not managing.
Interesting.
Like, I think hiring the right people and surrounding yourself with the right people allows a lot of things to fall into place. And one of the things I've become very in tune with is what my failures are, right? Like, as you get older, wiser, whatever you want to call it,
right?
Just having enough failures in your own life, you know what you're good at and what you're not good at. And so, like, my best friend Mike is an engineer, process guy, knows how to build out, timelines and process. And me,
No way.
not a chance in hell.
Not a chance in hell.
You couldn't fucking pay me to do that. So at the end of the day, he's my COO, and he works with me not in the logistics, but in iCleanse or at iDevices. He was my COO, and he was kind of the yin to my yang, right? Like he's the guy who I'd go, hey, I want to go make this. And he'd be like, okay, I'm going to go figure out how. And I'd be like, we need to make it faster. And he'll be like, I can't. There's just no physical way to do that. And we push each other back and forth like that, so that I push him to think outside the box versus the way he might have thought at Pratt & Whitney where he used to work, right? Where it's like, this is the way you make something.
Right, and we don't deviate.
And I say, well, that's not the way we do it at iDevices. We need to make it the iDevices way, and we can do things in parallel or differently. So it's a good relationship I truly cherish. I mean,
Does he work with you still?
Oh, yeah. I was with him today.
Oh.
Yeah, we were moving
The
stuff.
engineers are tough. They're hardest clients for us as lawyers, because for them, everything's black and white.
Yep.
Right? And so you say, and everything in family law, most things are gray. It's a spectrum, as you know. So they don't like that, because if I go to 5 engineers and say, I need to know what size beam I need to put here for this house, everyone will give you the same answer, right? Because it's science. You plug it in and it replicates and you can redo it and all that. And so for them, like, they hate it when things are gray. And like they're like, well, what's the answer to this? I'm like, it depends.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear it depends, because lawyers say it depends a lot.
I think I indoctrinated him a little bit more, so he's stepped back from that extreme, because at iDevices, the thing I used to always say is, like, I do a town hall every month, and I would say, the one thing I guarantee you, that if you want steady Eddie and no change, this is not the place for you. The only thing I can guarantee you is that things will change, because new technologies are going to come about, new opportunities are going to come about, and I want you to trust me and your executive team that we're guiding the ship in the right direction, and we're going to go after the best opportunities. But when we ask you to do something, it's not just because Chris is a squirrel and he's like, oh, we should go do this or go do that. We're actually, working together now as a team. And when I put the right team around that company, that's really when it took off.
And I know this is a huge topic, but let's just get into it just briefly before we wind down. Have you gone down the AI rabbit hole at all?
Oh, yeah.
Right. How profound do you think it's going to be?
It's very profound already. I use it many, many times a day, right?
Same.
And I think that fortunately and unfortunately, it's going to hurt the young people that are coming out of college, because it's going to take a lot of those jobs, right? The entry-level marketing, the entry-level engineer, the entry-level coder, you're just not required anymore, right? But if you adapt, right? I always say this at the company is like, it's adapt or die. It's like the dinosaurs. If you want to stay the steady Eddie and you think that this is going away, well, keep going down that path. We'll find you in a tar pit, in 100 years, 1,000 years. I think it's going to severely change the dynamic of business, and what you can do. Like, I have another venture that I'm doing right now, and virtually the entire venture has been done with AI.
Oh, you can have it write an app for you like this.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk, is that how you pronounce his name? He's awesome, right? Another thought leader.
Yeah.
And he says the exact same thing that you did. And he was like, look, before vlogging, there's people that follow you with a camera, right? That wasn't a job.
Yeah.
Now that's a job in editing that and doing that. So you have to find what AI is going to do, because they're still going to need a human in the loop, as they say. I think that's the term. But like with the legal stuff, it's not going to eliminate all lawyers, but it's going to make really good lawyers amazing lawyers.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's shit that it's doing for us. Like, I can give it now, discovery, everybody's financial records. I can dump it all in there and say, summarize this for me. Where does he spend his money? Anything there. And in 2 minutes, it puts that out to me. Like,
well, think about what I said before. Your most precious asset
is time.
And it's giving
It's
you
going to
back
buy me
a lot of time.
And I can take on more cases.
Yeah. And so for me, I use it even for my personal health. So I upload all my blood work, all my methylate tests, everything that I take in for supplements, my workouts, and it spits out every 3 months when I do my blood work, like what
do you need to do?
What do you need to do to improve and stay healthier and live longer?
And it's smarter than a lot of the doctors, even, because it's more objective.
My fiance is a nurse, and like she says it's never going to replace us. And I think the reality is, the way I look at it, and I might be in a bubble, but I'd rather have the amalgamation of every doctor in the world's opinion than than one doctor and thinking that he's the smartest person in the world.
That's right. One thought leader said, just live the next 10 years. Don't die.
Yeah.
because in the next, after the 10 years, you're going to add 50 years to the back end. And our kids are going to add 50 years to that. It's going to solve cancer.
Oh, yeah.
It really, and this isn't just being like a finance bro. Like these guys are all on ketamine and they're like, you see those clips. And, and my friend Ryan always says, I don't fucking. I'm telling you, it's going to change it all because what it can do now is, and it gets better every day. You get the amalgamation of every doctor and you put stuff in there and it's throwing stuff out there that doctors don't even think of.
100%.
And the radiologist and
because it looks naturopath, it looks traditional, everything. It looks at both sides of it. It's non-bias, right? It doesn't have a bias as to an education that it was handed or given. Or
their life experiences. Yeah, we're human. We're subject to that.
Yeah.
We can't do that. Well, Chris, this is awesome. I could talk for hours. But yeah, this is, you're a really interesting guy. And I love how the success leaves breadcrumbs. I always tell people. And, but my takeaway from knowing you and our conversation here today is that there really are no shortcuts.
No. And I think the fundamental thing is, I wish the world were more like this, but the thing that my mom always told me, sticks with me to this day, is, and I've done this, tried to do this in all my companies and all my interactions, is just treat others how you want to be treated.
The golden rule.
Right? That was her golden rule. And
I think that's the golden rule. It is. My grandfather taught me that too.
I mean, it is the golden rule. We have
the same symptoms. My grandfather always told me that. He always said to me, "It's the same thing." He taught me this because I didn't have a father either. My parents divorced. My dad took off. I met him when I was 38, and my grandfather was big involved. And he always said that to me. I'm doing this because that's how I would want to be treated.
Exactly.
And that pays such dividends.
Yeah.
Because
it does.
And you can't do it because you want to get something out of it. You have to do it because it's the right thing to do.
100%. There's a ton of stuff that I do that has no financial benefit, nothing that's going to put money in my pocket,
or land you in heaven, or any of this shit. It's going to be. It's like I'm a secular humanist. Yeah. It's right because it's right.
Yeah,
it's right. It's the right thing to do. Oh my gosh! So your mom told you. I mean, that's right, and that's paid. You give $5 million of your money away, and but then the universe pays it back in some other way.
Yeah, and even if it didn't, I know in my heart. I can go to bed at night.
Well, but it pays it back that way.
Yeah,
right?
that's selfishly, that's what I get
out of it. That's a payback.
Yep.
Oh, man. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right.